had
man. That's
Spanish
what I
people,
do.
Spanish citizens who are multicolored because they bonded over Catholicism. And so Florida, as it was, the they were Catholic, and that's the way they bonded. Great Britain was a backwoods country at that time. Backwoods, dirty, nothing. But in order to get people to gravitate to its side, they say, hey, we're just gonna bond on the fact that we're white. You can be Christian, you can be a Mason, you can be you can be whatever you want to be. As long as you're white, come on over here to the New World. That's how that went. And so that's why, and what England did in doing that, it drew everybody to their side because a lot of people didn't want to give up their religion. They didn't want to convert to Catholicism or anything like that. They can remain Protestants, and all they had to do is be white and become part of the British Empire and get goodies and favors. Okay? And so that's where racism was born in the United States. I'm white, so I get privileges, and I'm going to be part of the English Empire. And so that's where it stemmed from in the United States, and it just traversed the world thereafter. So it's a lot more to it. You really have to. I had a professor come to this broadcast and we spoke about that a little bit. I'll put a book. I think I'll put some books up there for folks to read if you want to really educate yourself. But let me get back to it. Shout out to y'all still with me. Hit the number 1 button if you're with me. We all knew they would vote against their own interests because the moral compass could not allow them to vote for Kamala, who represented a black woman, whether she's black or not. As far as most folks was concerned, she's black. Alonzo Dunn, I came from Jim Crow, Georgia. I went to segregated schools and saw colored only signs until 1970. Doggone it. Wow. Also, I knew family members born in the 1800s. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for your input, and thank you so much for this $50. You get to rock and roll and get in the house and tonight. And my man Lance Jackson, thank you so much for the super sticker. Torian Jones, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Yeah, ain't no fun. Look, and let me explain something to you, Mexicans and Latino folks. We know the racism that you practice when y'all get numbers. You've done it in California. You remember that councilwoman who was making those negative statements about that little black boy? She said that she was talking really bad about him, and then she got caught on the hot mic. We know what you say. We know about your anti-black racism. We just ignored it. Okay, we're willing to set that aside. We've been dealing with white folks all these years, and even the most racist white people got some redeeming qualities. You know what I'm saying? It's not something we don't know, but you out here talking reckless. And I'm talking about the little Mexican fella. But we had our equal opportunity ignoring everyone. Step back and taste, Rodrigo. The door is about to slam. Yeah, I don't know. You say you're going to deal with these white folk. Y'all going to come together, you and the Honduran people. I wish you well. But I don't know. If they finish with you, if you're going to have intact families. I don't know. If when they finish with you, won't be 30,000 of you all in Gitmo. I don't know. Because Donald Trump says he's going to start sending everybody down to El Salvador, not just Mexicans and Venezuelans or not just El Salvadorians. He's going to send everybody. He's contracting with these other countries to send y'all home. You see what I mean? And not even your own home. So I don't know. We'll see. My man on the long walk, and we got 18 super chats. It'd be good to get 20. That'll be plenty. But if we can get 18, that's mean. That's clean. He said non-Hispanic white population will increase more slowly than other racial and ethnic groups. Whites will become a minority, 47% by 2050. Pew Research. Yeah, and so Hispanics represent an existential threat to white domination of the United States, and it threatens to change the culture and the politics, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why they are the primary target right now. So that's why they're feeling the heat. As I discussed last night, Black Americans in 1965, we were 10% of the population. Here we are in 2025, we're 13% of the population. Some say 14. Hispanics, on the other hand, they comprised 3 to 4% of the population in 1965. And now they're 19% of the population in 2025. Asians were less than 1%, and now they're almost 6%. So all of these populations who are white adjacent have their presence in this country since the Hart-Celler Act was passed, which allowed migration from darker countries with darker people, has accelerated. Blacks, on the other hand, we're not a threat because we're not breeding like that. Okay. And so we don't pose an existential threat. Now, keep in mind, there is always going to be anti-Black racism, but the bottom line is we're not an immediate threat. And, our population is not out of pocket. And at the end of the day, we serve a purpose. We do what we do. And again, as I say, we're the moral compass of this country. So, otherwise it'd be like Britain, bad food, bad weather. Anyway, and losing all their games. Shout out to Quantum Solace. This silly dude doesn't realize their heritage, for the most part, is not their heritage to begin with. Most of their food is not Mexican food, it's African recipes. Even the music is off. So here's the thing, brother. When you start doing DNA tests on Mexicans, first of all, when we talk about Mexicans, are we talking about the indigenous people that were there when the Spaniards and the conquistadors came? Or are we talking about the mestizos who are the product of miscegenation and breeding and forced impregnation by the Spanish? When I look at that gentleman, he clearly has European features. And so, when he starts talking about Mexican, he's not talking about the indigenous people. And here's another thing. Oftentimes, people of Hispanic descent will say, well, this is our land. No, this land belonged to the Cherokee, the Apache, the Arapaho, and all these other Native Americans who were here. They were different people, even though you all were cousins. Those people are no longer here. And now that they're no longer here, you want to come take the land that they were on. But that group of people, those nations, those Indian nations, those Native nations, they're not here anymore. Okay. And if they are, they're scattered about on different reservations around the country. So you cannot then say, oh, that's our people. No, this land that they call North America, within the 50 states, this was not the land of the Mexicans. You descended from different Native Americans or different indigenous people, but it's not this nation. It's not these Native Americans that are here or that were here. Those people have died out and been eradicated by, what we know to be the genocide committed upon them by, the Americans, which also included Black Americans. The whole story of Buffalo Soldiers, they were fighting Mexicans and they were fighting Indians, and, so we often blame white people, but Black folk been right there along with them. I tell you guys all the time, we fought in every war. That's against brown people, Black people, white people, whoever. So, it is what it is, just something to deal with. Shout out to my man, Brother Marcus System. Thank you so much. Hey, Hector, gone FAFO. Yeah, go find you. They'll find out. You want us to jump out there in front of this freight train for you? You're asking too much. Shout out to my man, Alonzo Dunn. Remember that a lot of the Confederate soldiers went there after 179K FBA from the Great Swamp kicked that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of Confederates went down there to Mexico. A lot of Blacks went there too. Free slaves and people who were running from slavery. Don't need our help. Don't get off the coattails then. Yeah, why are you picking on Black folks and then everybody else has something to say? You understand me? Why is it just us you want to pick on? My man, Kenneth McDonald, good evening. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Well, either way, we've done a lot tonight. I want to go ahead and talk to you all, and let's do it like we're supposed to do it. Look, let me say it like this, man. Enough is enough. Okay, enough is enough is enough. All right. See, for too long, Black people, Afro-Latinos, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans alike have tolerated the hypocrisy of the Latino communities. See, you've embraced anti-Black racism while reaping the benefits of our Black struggle. And it's time for reckoning. Okay? And Latinos love to claim they're all about unity and diversity, just like this man did, when it's convenient. But let's be real. as he said. Anti-Black racism is deeply embedded in Latin America. And whether it's the open hatred of Haitians and in the Dominican Republic by some, and the erasure of Afro-Mexicans, okay, and the exclusion of Black people from Latin American history books, or the way Black people are treated like second-class citizens in Colombia, Brazil, and Cuba. Latinos have consistently upheld the tenets of white supremacy. We know this. When we go down to Colombia, you always see lighter-skinned Colombians, even though a large percentage of the Colombians are of a darker hue. They shift them off to the coast. You understand? They put them off on the coast. Matter of fact, it's so bad, a lot of the darker Colombians just associate themselves with the Caribbean because they get treated so bad in their country. But, you know, Black people, you know, are told that these Afro-Latinos, the ones that are Black, they're told they're not really Latino. And then you got Black women who are sexualized or diminished as ugly. And I'm going to keep showing the world what Black
you
men
were tuned
can
in to
do.
one of the best Black men advocated podcasts on YouTube. Show some love for the one and only Black professional who keep it real.
And be super mad.
You would tune in to Dennis podcast. Keep it moving, mama's favorite of the lovely ladies. All these YouTube men dressed for the occasion, even though he on the internet. Intellect, beat you up in court and probably fist to fist. Been around the world, high value. Girl, you can't relate it. Been debated, Godfather endorsed, scared. Kevin said it. Independent Black businessman, yeah, he hood related. Probably wouldn't know a big bass. Appreciate it. Talk to me and I talk back. He can litigate it. Walk with me as we talk facts. He opinionated, saying true. He not only talking, checking court dockets. Only YouTuber putting real money in my pockets. LA back to Houston, taking off. Three some Houston pockets. Big O in the middle. I'm Elijah Wan, let's get it poppin'. Championships, we want championships. Keep the manuscript. Loyalty and brotherhood. Watch out who you're hanging with. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, y'all know what it is. DennisSpurling podcast. One of the realest. One of the realest in the game. Let's get to it. All my lovely ladies, y'all know what it is. Show some love. Yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe right now. On our way to 100,000. Let's get it. You would tune in to the one, if not the best, on these YouTube streets. We call him DennisSpurling. You sit back and hate watch, clocking everything he do and say, but you yelling DennisSpurling. Show some love, ain't enough going round for a Black man putting it down. We talking DennisSpurling. Taking over 2025, ain't no lies. Pull up, tell all of your guys we watching DennisSpurling. You tune in to the one, if not the best, on these YouTube streets. We call him DennisSpurling. You sit back and hate watch, clocking everything he do and say, but you yelling DennisSpurling. Show some love, ain't enough going round for a Black man putting it down. We talking DennisSpurling. Taking over 2025, ain't no lies. Pull up, tell all of your guys we watching DennisSpurling.
This is Uncle D, and as I always said this time, I'm out.
Almost to 10,000 followers. I want to say thank you to you guys. You know, I know God has something in store for me, and I'm going to continue to say yes.
Smooth operator. Come on, everybody. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.